Welcome to Recovery His Way on the beautiful campus of His Way here in Northeast Huntsville, Alabama. I'm Tom Reynolds, director of His Way, and glad to have you join us today. Last week, Stuart and I were discussing the idea of spiritual sobriety in Christ. We focused on our mission statement, which is what we've been talking about. The mission statement simply says, reclaiming men from a life of addiction, rebuilding their lives in spiritual sobriety in Christ, and restoring them to Christ-like service in the community. And we were focusing on that second statement, rebuilding their lives in spiritual sobriety in Christ, and particularly focusing on the idea of spiritual sobriety. The world has a view of sobriety that's basically just the abstinence of substance, alcohol, drugs, that kind of thing. As long as you're not putting anything in your system, you're sober by definition. But from our point of view, we really talk about spiritual sobriety, the idea that one is alert spiritually, that they're aware of what's going on, that they're connected with God, and they're seeing through the things of this world into the spiritual things, and that's really the focus of spiritual sobriety. In 1 Thessalonians 5 and verse 4, Paul addresses this issue when he says, "But you are not in darkness, brothers, for that day to surprise you like a thief. For you're all children of light and children of the day. We're not of the night or of the darkness, so then let us not sleep as others do, but let us keep awake and be sober. For those who sleep, sleep at night. Those who get drunk are drunk at night. But since we belong to the day, let us be sober, having put on the breastplate of faith and love, and for a helmet, the salvation of hope." Now, the thing that he really emphasizes there is, as he talks to us as Christians, that we're not people of darkness, we're not people of sleep, we are people of light. And so we live as people of light. We live alert, we live aware, we live prepared. And really that's what we're talking about in terms of helping people develop a sense of spiritual sobriety. One of the things that we really focus on a lot in our program is really helping guys build a new foundation. They come here with very broken foundations from being founded many times in their life on things that aren't stable. Unstable families, unstable identities, unstable character, trying to find their meaning and purpose in simply making money or finding a relationship or some performance that they have, or maybe some past experience or accomplishment that they would have. But that a real true foundation that we talk about is the foundation on Jesus Christ. And in Ephesians 2, Paul talks about that foundation when he says, "So then you are no longer strangers and aliens, but you are fellow citizens with the saints and members of the household of God, built on the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Jesus Christ himself being the cornerstone." And so the idea that our lives are going to be fixed on something that lasts, the apostles and prophets with Jesus being the cornerstone, is really the focus of helping to rebuild this life of sobriety, this life that's founded on something that's going to be lasting and stable. And so that's been kind of the focus of what we talk about. In fact, earlier in Ephesians, Paul specifically talks about our identity, which comes up throughout the Bible. One of the things we want to really emphasize in terms of sobriety is discovering what it means to be in Christ, what it means to be in Him, what it means to be who we are in this new identity in Jesus Christ. Some of the words that Paul uses in Ephesians right at the beginning, he talks about us being blessed, about us being chosen, about us being holy, blameless, adopted, redeemed, that we're heirs, that we're sealed. And grasping that identity is critical, I think, to the recovery process that we focus on in spiritual sobriety in Christ. So today, I'm really thankful that we have somebody who's been a special hero of mine and been a real role model of this type of transformation, Michael Varchetta. Michael came to His Way back in April of 2016, spent an entire year here going through our program, going through the original 6 months, and then part of our advanced recovery group, and graduated on April 20th of 2017. Since then, he's been running our case management department, which has been critical to all that we do to help reach out to our men, helping them get in the program, and then helping them through the program during the time they're here. Michael, thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
One of the things I'd just like for you to share with our audience is, as I mentioned, this process of rebuilding spiritual sobriety has certainly been an important part of your life. And so I'd like you to kind of give us some background on kind of where that's taken you, how you've gotten to where you are today.
So a little bit about me. So I came to His Way, or prior to His Way, I had a pretty successful career. To make a long story short, I became addicted to drugs. Came to His Way. When I got here, I had about $3 in my pocket. I destroyed all my family relationships. I got into some legal issues. So when I came here, I was just kind of down on myself, and the big thing for me in rebuilding my life has been, you just mentioned transformation. That's been a key thing for me, is just fully embracing that. And early on in my recovery, I kept trying to rebuild my life as it was before, exactly in the way it was before. And then I realized at a certain point that that's not possible. You have to transform and pursue something new. So that's what I began to do. And what I realized too early on, or not early on, but I realized that this requires patience. It's not going to happen on your time. It's going to happen on God's time. And for example, I was talking to somebody last night, and I used an analogy of building a wall, and you're putting bricks in the wall. And one brick might be getting a driver's license. It might be getting a pardon. It might be going back to school. It might be whatever. But the point is, you're putting all these bricks in the wall to build a new wall, which is your new life. And so you have to totally embrace transformation, and that means you have to transform from the inside out. You have to change the way you talk, your friends. You have to pursue new things. And another key thing for me that I have found is, the more I invest in my recovery, the less likely, or the less willing I am to give it up. So the more I keep pressing forward with new projects, new this or that, the less I want to give that up, because it means a lot to me. So.
Okay, that's great. I mean, maybe you could share with us a little bit about what are some of the specific things that you put in place that you feel like were important in this rebuilding process for you. What are some of the things you pursued? You talked about putting on new things, beginning new things, not just reduplicating what you've done in the past, getting yourself back to where you were, but really allowing God to create something brand new in your life. So there's new things that come in. So what are some of the things that you've really focused on, say, in this period of time?
Well, in the 5 years I've been here, I've managed to rebuild my credit. I've got a pardon from the Bureau of Pardons and Paroles about a year or so ago. I finished up my bachelor's degree from UAH. I've enrolled in law school, and if you told me 5 years if you told me 5 years ago that I would be in law school and in the top 10% of my class there, I just wouldn't have believed you. So those are the new pursuits that I've been taking on.
Okay. I know you've been working with our case management department pretty much since you graduated from here, and helping there to meet guys when they first apply the program, and then helping them get in the program, and then working with them throughout the program. Maybe you could share a little bit about what are the things you do in case management to help rebuild men's lives and reestablish them?
Well, in a sense, it's a really good fit for me, and in a sense, it kind of comes somewhat easy, because I recognize the issues that they have when they come in, because I had all those same issues. I was riddled with financial issues, legal issues, family relationship issues. So almost all of our guys come in with issues, something like that, and me having the background that I have, it's easy for me to pinpoint those issues and address them with them, and help them resolve everything.
Okay. I know one of the things you've worked hard on is really, as a program, helping us network to resources that then we're helping, funnel these guys through. What are some of the resources you're utilizing in order to help rebuild their lives? Yeah,
so just a few here. So, for example, we work a lot with the Madison County Volunteer Lawyer Program, and they offer free services to our guys who want to get uncontested divorces. They want to regain custody of their kids. They want to get a bankruptcy. We can help them out with all that through the volunteer lawyer program. We partner with a group called Thrive, and they help us with a lot of medical intakes, a lot of medical issues that the guys have. We also work with Bailey Cove Eye Care, who donate some of their, or they volunteer to do a few free eye exams every month. So it's just small partnerships like that help us address all these guys' issues.
And I think it's really critical. I really appreciate all that you do there, because most guys who walk in our program feel completely disenfranchised from the society. And so you've rebuilt, through His Way, relationships in those, and you're helping them rebuild those relationships so they start feeling welcomed back in society. Lawyers are willing to talk to them, doctors are going to talk to them, people are going to help them. Whereas before they felt shunned by a lot of that society, now they feel welcome back into it. And I think that's a powerful message, again, to identity that you're talking about there. Maybe you can share with us, as you work with these guys, what are some specific things, if you think about some particular situations, victories that you've had, guys that you've seen allow this to happen? Maybe you could share some of those kind of stories with us.
Well, as you know, we do this job for the small percentage of the people that will that are willing to stay sober and that are committed to it. But it's always encouraging when I see guys come in and they want to take full advantage of all the resources the program offers. Another good sign is when a guy is real assertive in wanting to address his issues. And another good sign that's real encouraging to me is when a guy realizes that it requires patience, that you're not going to fix all your problems overnight. When they realize that, that's when things will start to click for them. But so yeah.
Okay. Well, one of the things that I appreciate about what you do too is so many times in Christian programs, we get kind of accused of all we're really concerned about their spiritual life. Get them baptized, get them right with God. That's why that matters. And then kind of the rest is up to them. But we really treat them as a whole person, that we're interested in their relationships, their health, their educational pursuits, and those kind of things, as well as their spiritual life, because as their spiritual life is transforming, so that is integrated back into their all these other aspects of their life, what kind of jobs they have, how they work in those, how they interact with their family, how they handle their money, all those things become integral to that process. So I appreciate so much the work that you do, and I think kind of the practical, help guys take these theoretical ideas of spiritual transformation, this new identity, and start putting wheels on it and making it move down the road for them, and really help them experience what that really begins to look like in terms of various aspects of their life. I know one of the other things with your interest, particularly in law, I know you've done a great job of networking with attorneys and getting to know a lot of the attorneys. I know you represent a lot of these guys in court. You take them to court, you're with them, you stand with them, you support them in the various challenges they have in the court system. And of course, that's very nerve-wracking if you've ever been. I know you have been, but if any of us have been in the court system, all of a sudden when your life is before a judge, it's a very intimidating experience. And so being there for them has been powerful. I know talking to families, knowing that representatives of His Way are going to be in the courtroom really matter to them. And I know they look forward to seeing you walk in that room, tie or not, to represent them and be a part of His Way. As you think about the future, and I know you've been case manager. I mean, you don't have a degree in social work, you don't have a background in doing all this stuff, but just out of your own giftedness, your passion, you've developed a department that is committed to helping these guys in the areas we talked about. What kind of things do you envision for the future as we continue to move forward in really helping rebuild guys' lives? What kind of things do you hope that maybe can happen in the future?
One thing I'd like to see is an expanded education, outreach program here where we can easily plug guys into a trade program or a certificate program and have those resources readily available for guys. One thing I also kind of foresee is when Rediscovery gets up and running. And it's and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Our service, or the case management services that we offer, will expand, and we'll have more of a presence, at the courthouses and everything like that. So that's kind of encouraging to think about.
Yeah, and Rediscovery is kind of the non-residential side of this program, really offering the program to the community, people who aren't able to be in a residential program that still need, obviously, the help in recovery. offering that in evening classes and that type of thing. So that's great. Well, Michael, I appreciate you being here today, and I appreciate all that you're doing to help guys' lives change and moving them forward to a great future. So I look forward to seeing more about your future, as well as the impact that you have on helping other people rebuild their future.
Well, I'm grateful to be here. Thank you.
And thank you for watching this today. And we encourage you to check out Recovery His Way on our website at hiswayinc.org.